Welcome to Soil Nourish. Have you ever watered your vegetables consistently, followed all the right steps, and still felt disappointed when the plants looked slow, pale, or simply stuck in the same condition week after week? This mistake looks small, but the impact can last a long time, especially in pots, raised beds, and small home gardens where soil health changes quickly. Many gardeners quietly worry that they're doing something wrong, and often blame themselves or the plants, when the real issue is much simpler and easier to fix. Today, we're going to talk about a gentle, realistic solution many experienced gardeners rely on: a simple compost water mix, sometimes called light compost tea. Please watch until the end, because at point number 6 we'll discuss a watering habit that many people believe is correct, but actually slows vegetable growth over time. And at point number 10 I'll share one simple monthly routine that often decides whether a garden slowly recovers or keeps declining. This video is calm, practical, and designed especially for everyone who wants healthy vegetables without heavy work or complicated routines. If you enjoy steady, trustworthy gardening advice, consider subscribing and growing with us. Gardeners are using this one water mix to boost vegetable growth instantly. 1. Why many gardeners start with a simple compost water mix instead of fertilizer. A very common small problem in home gardens is relying only on plain water or reacting too quickly by using strong fertilizers when plants start to look weak. Many gardeners notice yellow leaves, slow growth, or poor harvests and assume the plants need more nutrients right away. In reality, especially in containers and small garden beds, nutrients are easily washed out every time the soil is watered. Over time, the soil loses its natural balance, beneficial microbes decline, and roots struggle to absorb what little nutrition remains. Vegetables may survive, but their growth often becomes slow, uneven, and unpredictable, which can be discouraging after weeks of effort. This situation is common among home gardeners because small growing spaces behave very differently from open ground. Containers dry out faster, heat up more easily, and require more frequent watering. Each watering cycle pushes nutrients deeper or completely out of the soil. When chemical fertilizers are added suddenly to compensate, plants can experience stress, root damage, or fertilizer burn. This creates a cycle where gardeners feel they need to apply even more fertilizer, often making the problem worse instead of better. For this reason, many experienced gardeners prefer to start with compost water, sometimes called compost tea, made by soaking finished compost or worm castings in water. This creates a mild nutrient solution that is easy for plants to absorb. Unlike strong fertilizers, compost water works slowly and supports the overall soil environment rather than targeting quick top growth. It introduces beneficial microorganisms that help break down organic matter and improve nutrient availability around the roots. 2. What compost water actually does inside the soil over time. Many people assume that compost water works like a quick fix or an instant growth booster for plants. In reality, its main benefits are not immediate or dramatic, and that is often where misunderstandings begin. Compost water does not directly feed plants in the same way chemical fertilizers do. Instead, it plays a supporting role by improving the condition of the soil and the biological activity within it. When applied properly and in moderation, compost water helps introduce and support beneficial microorganisms in the soil. These microorganisms are essential because they assist plant roots in accessing nutrients that are already present but may not be easily available. Nutrients such as nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium can exist in the soil while still being out of reach for plants if microbial activity is low. Compost water helps reactivate this natural process. Without a healthy population of soil microbes, vegetables may struggle to grow even when fertilizer is applied regularly. Over time, soil that relies too heavily on synthetic inputs can become compacted or biologically inactive. This often leads to common problems such as yellowing leaves, slow growth, weak stems, or reduced yields. Adding more fertilizer in these conditions does not always solve the issue and can sometimes make it worse. 3. Small watering habits that prevent compost water from working properly. One subtle mistake many gardeners make is applying compost water too quickly or pouring it directly onto dry, compacted soil. When this happens, the liquid often runs off the surface or drains away too fast, preventing plant roots from absorbing the nutrients. As a result, gardeners may assume compost water is ineffective, when the real problem lies in timing and application technique rather than the method itself. Dry or hardened soil tends to repel water at first contact. Instead of soaking in, the compost water follows the easiest path away from the plant. This not only wastes nutrients but can also cause uneven moisture levels in the soil. Plants may still show signs of stress, leading to confusion and frustration for gardeners who expect quick results. A more effective approach starts with lightly moistening the soil using plain water. This initial step helps soften the soil and prepares it to absorb nutrients. Once the soil is slightly damp, compost water can be applied slowly and steadily around the base of the plant. This allows the liquid to move gradually through the root zone, where it can be absorbed more efficiently. Pouring slowly is key. Rushing the process reduces absorption and increases runoff. Using a small watering can with a narrow spout gives better control and helps target the soil directly around the plant rather than the surrounding area. This method is especially helpful for seniors or anyone who prefers a comfortable and precise way to water plants. 4. How roots respond when compost water is used the right way. Roots respond best to stable, gentle conditions rather than sudden or extreme changes. Unlike leaves or stems, roots operate out of sight, and their health is often overlooked even though they play a critical role in a plant's overall performance. When compost water is applied correctly and consistently, roots receive a mild supply of nutrients along with beneficial microorganisms. This combination supports root activity without overwhelming the plant or causing stress, which can happen with strong synthetic fertilizers or improper watering practices. One of the main advantages of compost water is that it improves the soil environment gradually. Instead of forcing rapid growth, it helps roots develop steadily, allowing them to explore the soil more efficiently. Over time, this leads to stronger root systems that are better equipped to handle heat, irregular weather patterns, and restricted growing spaces such as pots, raised beds, or compacted soil. Strong roots also improve a plant's ability to absorb water and nutrients, even when conditions are less than ideal. Above ground, the results may not be obvious right away. Gardeners often expect quick changes in height, leaf size, or flowering, and when those changes do not appear immediately, it can be frustrating. However, slow visible growth is not a sign that nothing is happening. While progress may seem minimal at first, the plant is investing energy below the surface. As roots become healthier and more efficient, this foundation supports more consistent and balanced growth over time. Five. Why this gentle water mix works better for containers and small gardens. Containers and small gardens tend to magnify mistakes because the amount of soil available to plants is very limited. Unlike garden beds, containers cannot buffer excess nutrients or recover easily from imbalances. Strong chemical fertilizers can quickly overwhelm plant roots, leading to burning, poor growth, or long-term damage. On the other hand, Using only plain water over time can slowly wash nutrients out of the soil, leaving plants undernourished and stressed. Compost water works well in these situations because it supports overall soil balance rather than forcing rapid growth. Instead of delivering high concentrations of nutrients all at once, compost water provides mild, steady support that complements what is already in the soil. This makes it easier to maintain consistent growing conditions, especially in containers where changes happen quickly. When used occasionally, compost water helps improve soil structure by encouraging beneficial microorganisms. These microorganisms play an important role in breaking down organic matter and making nutrients more available to plant roots. Improved soil structure also allows the soil to hold moisture more evenly, reducing the risk of both overwatering and drying out. As a result, plants experience less stress and are better able to grow at a natural, manageable pace. This balanced approach lowers the risk of common problems such as root damage, nutrient imbalance, and sudden plant decline. It also reduces the need for frequent adjustments or corrective treatments. For seniors, this means fewer interventions, fewer mistakes to fix, and a more predictable gardening routine. With compost water, gardening becomes less demanding and easier to manage, allowing seniors to focus on enjoyment rather than constant maintenance or troubleshooting. 6. The correct watering habit that quietly damages vegetable growth. Many home gardeners believe that watering plants in the late afternoon or evening is the best option because the air feels cooler and plants seem less stressed. While this approach may look helpful on the surface, it can actually create several problems that affect plant health over time. When water sits on leaves and soil overnight, it creates a damp environment that encourages fungal diseases, mold, and root issues. These problems often develop quietly and only become visible once plants are already weakened. Vegetable crops such as tomatoes, cucumbers, peppers, and leafy greens are especially vulnerable to excess moisture. Wet leaves for long periods can lead to common issues like powdery mildew, leaf spot, and blight. In addition, cool nighttime temperatures slow evaporation, which means roots may remain saturated longer than necessary. This can reduce oxygen in the soil and slow plant growth. Watering in the morning offers several advantages. Early watering allows plants to absorb moisture before the heat of the day, helping them stay hydrated during peak sunlight hours. Any excess water on leaves has time to evaporate naturally as temperatures rise, lowering the risk of disease. Morning watering also supports stronger root development, since roots are most active during daylight hours. Compost water, liquid fertilizer, or nutrient-rich teas are also best applied in the morning. When roots are active, plants absorb nutrients more efficiently, reducing waste and improving overall performance. This timing helps ensure nutrients reach the plant rather than being lost to runoff or evaporation. 7. How often compost water should be used without stressing plants. Another concern many gardeners have is how often compost water should be used. While compost water is generally mild and beneficial, using it too frequently can still disrupt the natural balance of the soil. Even gentle inputs, when applied too often, may lead to excess nutrients, reduced oxygen in the root zone, or uneven microbial activity. These issues can slow plant growth instead of supporting it. For most vegetables and common garden plants, compost water works best when applied once every 2 to 4 weeks. The exact timing depends on factors such as weather, soil type, and plant growth stage. During hot or dry periods, plants may need more regular watering, but that does not mean compost water should replace plain water. In most cases, clean tap water or rainwater is enough between compost water applications. Maintaining this schedule helps plants develop strong roots and adapt to their environment naturally. It also prevents plants from becoming dependent on nutrient-rich water, which can weaken them over time. Consistent but moderate use allows the soil ecosystem to stay balanced while still gaining the benefits of added organic matter. For older adults or beginner gardeners, having a predictable routine is especially helpful. A simple schedule reduces confusion and lowers the risk of overwatering or overfeeding, which are among the most common reasons plants fail. Overcare often comes from good intentions, but it can stress plants more than neglect. By spacing out compost water use and relying on plain water in between, gardeners can support healthy growth without adding extra work. This small adjustment in timing may seem minor, but it can make a noticeable difference in plant health, soil quality, and overall garden success. 8. The role of soil microbes that plain water cannot support. Plain water is essential for plant survival because it prevents dehydration, supports photosynthesis, and helps transport nutrients within plant tissues. However, water alone does not address the underlying condition of the soil, especially when the soil has been depleted by repeated planting, erosion, or excessive use of chemical fertilizers. Over time, soil can lose much of its biological activity, making it less effective at supporting healthy plant growth. Compost water offers additional benefits by helping to restore soil biology. It introduces beneficial microorganisms such as bacteria and fungi that play a key role in breaking down organic matter. As organic materials decompose, these microbes convert them into nutrients that plants can absorb more easily. This process allows nutrients to be released gradually, reducing the risk of nutrient loss and improving overall soil efficiency. Without a healthy microbial population, soil structure can deteriorate. Compacted or lifeless soil limits root development and reduces the plant's ability to access water and nutrients. As a result, plants may show signs of nutrient deficiency, such as slow growth or pale leaves, even when they are watered and maintained regularly. Compost water helps reverse this condition by encouraging biological activity that improves soil texture and nutrient availability. Supporting soil life also creates a more stable growing environment. Microorganisms help regulate moisture retention and improve the soil's ability to respond to changes in temperature, rainfall, and watering schedules. This makes vegetables and other crops more resilient to environmental stress. Over time, maintaining active soil biology through practices like using compost water is one of the most practical and sustainable ways to support long-term garden productivity and soil health. 9. Early signs your vegetables are benefiting from better soil moisture. Instead of focusing on sudden increases in plant size or rapid growth, it is more effective to pay attention to steady and calmer signs of improvement. Healthy plants often show progress in subtle ways. Leaves tend to keep their green color longer, wilting happens less often during the day, and new growth appears more regularly rather than all at once. These changes indicate that the root system is becoming stronger and that the soil environment is moving toward better balance. When roots function properly, plants are able to absorb water and nutrients more efficiently. This results in fewer stress responses, especially during hot weather or dry periods. Compost water supports this process by improving soil structure and increasing microbial activity. Instead of forcing fast growth, it helps create conditions where plants can develop at a natural and sustainable pace. This balanced approach reduces the risk of nutrient burn, root damage, or sudden plant decline. Gardens that rely on compost water often experience fewer emergencies. Plants are less likely to show extreme reactions, such as sudden yellowing or collapse, because their needs are being met consistently. Over time, vegetables grown in healthier soil become more resilient and predictable. They respond better to routine care and are less sensitive to minor mistakes. As a result, the gardener spends less time fixing problems and more time maintaining simple routines. There is less need for frequent adjustments, corrective treatments, or constant monitoring. This steady improvement leads to a garden that is easier to manage, more stable throughout the growing season, and less stressful overall. Consistency, rather than speed, becomes the key to long-term success. 10. The simple monthly compost water routine that helps gardens recover. One habit that often determines whether a garden recovers or continues declining is a simple monthly soil care routine. Many gardeners focus heavily on watering or fertilizing, but soil maintenance is just as important for long-term plant health. By spending a short amount of time each month on basic soil care, gardeners can prevent common problems such as nutrient depletion, poor drainage, and weak plant growth. The routine itself is straightforward. Start by removing damaged, yellowing, or exhausted leaves from the base of plants. This step helps reduce disease risk and allows the plant to direct energy toward healthy growth. After cleanup, apply a thin, even layer of compost or worm castings directly to the soil surface. There is no need to dig it in deeply. Natural watering and soil organisms will gradually pull nutrients downward. Many experienced home gardeners rely on this practice to keep vegetables productive throughout the growing season. It is especially effective in small gardens and raised beds, where soil nutrients are used up more quickly. By maintaining healthy soil month after month, gardeners create a stable foundation that supports strong plant growth and steady harvests over the long term. Conclusion. Today we focused on a calm, realistic approach to vegetable gardening, supporting soil health through gentle watering habits and compost water, rather than chasing fast results. When soil improves, plants respond naturally and steadily, with fewer problems and less stress. These small routines benefit both the garden and the gardener over time. If this video was helpful, please continue to the next one, where we'll talk about simple ways to keep your garden healthy without heavy work or complicated systems. Thank you for spending this time in the garden with me.